There is a trend in the medical world right now. I like to say, medicine 3.0, where people are realizing, okay, we can't just put band-aids on solutions anymore. Like, why are you getting recurrent infections, right? Whether it's bacterial, viral, why do you need medications? Why do you need a steroid shot? Like, why don't you get to the root of it and really figure out and strengthen that root or bring those imbalances back into balance? So then you don't need antibiotics again, right?
Hey guys, what's up? It's your author, Alex Dry, and I am back with another entry on the Dry Diaries. Today we have Dr. Felice Chan.
Hi, everyone.
She is a Chinese acupuncturist, herbal medicine.
Yeah, doctor. Yeah.
She just does it all. She's been doing it now for 5 years professionally, but it's something that she's done ever since she was little. And so I'm so excited because I have so many questions. And as you guys know, I love natural remedies and natural healing. And she just embodies all of that.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
You're welcome.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
I know.
So I'm Dr. Felice Chan. I practice Chinese medicine, so I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine and herbal medicine, and that encapsulates acupuncture for the most part and Chinese herbal remedies, but also kind of a holistic picture of someone's health. And I started this medicine back in 2019, and I actually was in Western medicine before. So I took a shift from Western to Eastern medicine, and I think my biggest drive was to find a holistic medicine and a medicine that really got to the root cause, and to actually help someone figure out all of the cascading symptoms that they would feel. And I think I was always drawn to being some type of healer. And I lived in Boston at this time. I went through my own spiritual awakening and revelation of, okay, oh my goodness, the world needs more holistic doctors that actually get to the root of an issue to kind of separate from the institutionalized hospital system, because I really wanted to help people to the biggest ability. And what made sense was Chinese medicine, because I actually grew up in Hong Kong. I grew up with Chinese medicine in my household as foods and soups and herbs. And when I moved to the US for college, I really missed home. And I think this was, a melting pot of, oh my goodness, this is meant for me. And that's how I went back to Chinese medicine.
Love. For people who don't know, can you tell the difference of Eastern and Western medicine?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest differentiation is that Western medicine is compartmentalized, right? You have experts for brain health, for cardiovascular health, for liver health, which is so necessary sometimes. And the difference between that and Eastern is holistic. We never look at the body individual as, if you have liver issues, we look at the liver, but we also have to understand everything else. We look at emotions, we look at other organ systems, channel pathways, and the meridian system in Chinese medicine, where, okay, the liver is located in our abdomen, but I'm going to look at points down the feet because the meridian starts there. So it's an encapsulating holistic medicine, and I love to always incorporate emotions into that.
Was Western more being treated with antibiotics or different treatment, whereas Eastern is more herbal and also looking at the body as a whole?
Yes, I would say that. So Western, it's a lot of putting a Band-Aid on solutions, and not necessarily a bad thing, because, for example, we need antibiotics, right? If you are really sick, if you have a bacterial infection, it's one of the quickest ways. However, there are also other methods. For example, Chinese medicine, we do have a lot of amazing herbs that have antibiotic properties, obviously not as fine or minute and as intense as what antibiotics is, but it's a more natural remedy. And so it's always about choices and what choices you want to make at that time to help your health. And Chinese medicine, there's truly no side effects. If you go to the right practitioner and they know what they're doing with herbs and acupuncture, it's just going to rebalance all imbalances in your body and make you feel better.
Yeah, which I love, because I recently have gotten really into natural remedies and health. And it's because when I was little, I was born with eczema, asthma, and I always struggled with sinus infection, strep throat. So they would always give me steroids, antibiotics, all these different things. And then it wasn't until college I got my tonsils out, completely changed, everything for me. It helped a lot. But then they noticed that I had slight scoliosis. And so I started doing research and then also working with different people. And it was so crazy because they correlated the scoliosis to the strep and different things that were in my body for so long. I always would be like, okay, I'm sick. I'm going to go get a steroid shot, or I'm going to get amoxicillin. And, you know, I've also been working with you and just doing my other natural remedies. I call them my potions.
I like that.
All my friends are like, do you have your potions with you? But I've been doing like oregano oil and other things whenever I start to feel sick. And it truly has made such a difference. And because I feel like antibiotics also was weakening my immune system in some ways. So I love that you said Band-Aid, because it truly kind of is a Band-Aid for other issues in your body.
And I mean, again, it's a balance, right? And first of all, I commend you for also looking for alternative ways to heal. And there is a trend in the medical world right now. I like to say, you know, medicine 3.0, where people are realizing, okay, we can't just put Band-Aids on solutions anymore. Like, why are you getting recurrent infections, right? Whether it's bacterial, viral, why do you need medications? Why do you need a steroid shot? Like, why don't you get to the root of it and really figure out and strengthen that root, or bring those imbalances back into balance? So then you don't need antibiotics again, right? And it's possible to get there. And I think it's just this new mindset that people are starting to realize.
So take me back to growing up.
So I grew up in Hong Kong. I was born and bred. I mean, my family's fantastic. My parents are amazing people. And I remember growing up with my parents and also my grandmother giving me different soups or you know, drinks. And I would drink as a kid. I'm like, what is this? And they're like, this is good for you. This is good for you. And not until I was older, I started to study what was actually in it, right? Things from like goji berries to jujube dates to sugar cane, you know, ginseng in soups, why we had chicken soups at certain times, why we had broths, like every single day, every day for dinner. We always had a broth before dinner. And the broth would be a mix of some high collagen meat, you know, whether it's pork, beef, chicken. It would be paired with something sweet, but not, you know, processed sugars, but more so with fruit, whether it was papaya, corn, apples. And then they would put in a ton of Chinese herbs. And this would all be put in a big pot and boiled for 3 to 4 hours. And we would drink it every night.
That's awesome.
And my parents would always talk about the benefits. Oh, this one's good for your immune system. This is good for your eyes. And I'd be like, okay, sure. But I was such a healthy kid. I never got sick. And I didn't experience, you know, more debilitating health issues until I moved to the US for college. I went through my own histamine issues, allergies, and acne. And then so I went back to Chinese medicine to heal myself.
Wow. Yeah, I think it has so much to say also, just because the Chinese culture in general, the skin health, the gut health. And I used to always go to like Chinese or Korean spas.
Oh my gosh, the
And
best.
I know, they're so amazing. Doing the skin scrubs, body scrubs. And that's just a normal weekly routine, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think traditionally, also growing up in an Asian household, skincare was taught to me when I was 8 years old. You know, my mom sat me and my sisters down, was just like, hey, this is skincare. You should start to wear sunscreen, you know? And obviously we didn't as like an 8-year-old, but it's just like, this is what I do. This is what you're going to do one day. But taking care of our face, our health, but also eating our skincare, right? Making sure that we had enough nutrients to help our natural collagen build, to help our body develop to a place where when we're adults, you know, we can have nice skin, and a skin is a representation of how healthy the inside of your body is.
Well, because you said whenever you came here, so growing up, you guys never really went to the doctor more so, or how did the healthcare system work?
Yeah,
I guess growing up.
Interestingly, in Hong Kong, the healthcare system was very westernized because of the cosmopolitan and international aspect of Hong Kong when I grew up there. You know, where, yes, you would go to the doctors. My closest clinic was a Western medicine where you do get prescribed, you know, medication if you had a flu, which is almost ironic in an Asian culture, because I think at that point, this was, you know, the late, you know, or the early 2000s when I was a younger girl. And that was the drive of, you know, the Western dream and Westernization. And in order to find Chinese medicine, you'd have to know like an uncle or an auntie in the city center. Yeah. So I think, again, it was more so a mix of Western and Eastern and how you found that. And a lot of medicine was already portrayed and showed through family and what was passed down through generations. For example, my mom, when she gave birth to my sister and I, were twins. And
Oh,
there's a huge part of Chinese medicine postpartum. You have to eat a certain way. You have to, drink like black chicken soup, it's really interesting. People are like, black chicken. It's literally chicken. It's called
okay.
silken chicken or black chicken. It's, a little bit darker, but it tastes exactly like chicken. But the benefits of it is that it boosts your blood.
Oh,
And so
wow.
when you give birth, you lose a lot of your chi in your blood because it's just so exhausting to give birth. And so to drink and eat things that boost everything up is going to keep you healthier afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just passed down through generations.
So speaking of chi, can you break down for everyone what chi
Yeah.
is?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So chi is essentially our energy or life force. It's present in our bodies and outside our bodies. When we think about our energy field, right, we put our arms out and this is our energy field. And that essentially is the boundary of our chi. But we also have chi inside our body. And within our body, we have meridian systems or channels where chi flows. And that kind of can lead to acupuncture, right? Why acupuncture is so beneficial, because acupuncture with certain needles, we access these meridian systems and we access to then move the chi in our body. And I think one of the oldest expressions in Chinese medicine is that when there is stagnation, there are issues like ailment, sickness, but when there's no stagnation, you are completely healthy. And so I think the premise of it is that we need a free movement of energy and chi throughout our body, right? And whenever we feel sick, if we're stressed, our chi gets stuck. If we, have a cold, our chi and energy is stuck here, and we just have to move everything.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So is chi also, mentioned acupuncture, obviously, but through Chinese medicine, you know how people do energy healing
Yes.
outside the body?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys practice too?
To some extent, yes. So, I mean, chi, because it is energetic, we a lot of Chinese medicine practitioners, we also say we're energy practitioners, right? Because you're working with the energetic system, and it's fascinating because chakras come from more of a Indian culture, even South American too, with shamanic healers. And it's really fascinating to see that with all ancient cultures and modes of healing, we all have the same centers, right? In acupuncture, we have, big centers here that are super energetic that we learn about. It's the same as chakras and chakra centers. It's the
Yeah.
same as nadis in Indian culture.
Oh,
And so
wow.
it's really beautiful to see that throughout the world and from thousands of years ago, people from different cultures and different places have found the same energetic systems.
Yeah, that's super interesting. My family is Native American,
Love that. That's beautiful.
Cherokee Indian, and so there's a lot that goes into energy.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I've been studying it a little bit more. I feel like you're the same way. Honestly, she has the most, just her presence is so calming and healing. Even when I met you, I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. Or talking to her on the phone, I feel zen whenever I'm hanging out with you.
Well, I'm glad you do.
But it's so cool because, even from your background, my background, I feel empathy is a huge thing in reading people's energy. And so immediately, obviously, you have the background of medicine and all your studies, but do you also feel energy
Yes,
of people?
absolutely. It's really interesting, and I want to transition again from my Western, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I studied neuroscience and pre-med and worked at a hospital, it was
Oh,
very much
wow.
like, this is the medicine, this is how you learn it, these are the textbooks. It's very much like it's less creative, right? It's just like, this is a solution for this. You find patterns and this is how you solve it. Whereas in Eastern medicine or Chinese medicine is extremely creative and intuitive.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love about it, right? Someone comes in, person A with a headache versus person B. I never treat them the same way because they're individualized. And I love to, speak with them to understand why they have that. And so the root cause is different. But I think intuitively and energetically, everyone's body feels different. And I think the more and more I practice, the more and more I'm able to tune into someone's energy, right?
Yeah.
And you're a lot of, certain points, I'm just like, okay, intuitively, this feels right. This is what I learned in school, textbook, and traditionally, this is what this point was used for. But I want to use it for this because I want to open up this energetic center. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think more intuition pulled into Chinese medicine heals someone better as well.
So whenever you're treating people, I know, but for people listening, they don't really know, do you do a sit down background of, okay, what are you going through, your symptoms, why, but also emotionally?
Yes.
Whether you're going through a breakup or your parents got a divorce or some traumatic situation that may be causing blockages.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you know, I think we had a little bit of a different understanding because I spoke to you first on the phone virtually when you're in Texas.
Yeah.
But, when I see a new patient for the first time, I like to chat with them for at least 30 minutes, right? 30 to 45 minutes if needed, because I want to hear everything about their health, but it starts to get deeper into their life story, their emotions.
Yeah.
And it almost turns into some type of therapy session.
That's what I was going to say. You're kind of like a therapist.
Because I honestly need to hear it all to really connect all these puzzle pieces to understand, okay, why is something happening? Are they holding a lot of trauma in their fascia? And that's really tied to what we say, the Sanjiao channel, which is an importing energetic system. Are they holding fear in their kidneys? Are they holding stress in their liver? So every organ has an emotion tied to it.
Okay.
And so then it gives me an understanding, okay, what organ system is a little bit weaker? For example, recently with the fires in LA and with a lot of grief, a lot of people were having lung issues, and the emotion of the lungs is grief, from shortness of breath to tightness in the chest to allergies, flu season, even stuffy nose, whatever it was related to the lungs per Chinese medicine. I was seeing that a lot because people were feeling collective grief. Yeah.
So each organ system holds a different emotion. So lungs is grief.
Heart is joy.
Okay.
The spleen, which is their digestion, is overthinking and like overwhelm.
That makes so much sense for me.
The kidneys is fear. The gallbladder is decision making. So it's really fascinating to see all these organs kind of go off balance. And I think when I see the most is liver and stress, because we live a fast-paced world. Everyone has some type of liver imbalance. And the liver is the center of qi movement. Like the function of the liver is supposed to move everything in the body. And so when someone's stressed, like people feel kind of stuck energy here, right? Their diaphragm spasms, they have chest tightness, they get belly aches, and it's all because the liver is stuck, it's stagnant.
So what did you say the channel was called that your energy flows through?
So the meridian system.
Okay.
Or we can just say channels in general. I wish I had a little body. Next time I'm going to bring my figurine.
Yeah.
But you have channels that connect from your head to your feet to your hands, like everywhere in your body.
Is there a point where somebody's energy channel is completely blocked?
Sometimes it could be. A good example is pain. For example, someone broke or hurt their knee. There's a lot of energy systems, or let's say channels that pass through the knees. It's the kidneys, the liver, the spleen, the bladder, depending where on the knee it is.
Oh, wow.
And let's say someone broke it and it's swollen. It could block something. So I've seen where someone has come in with an ACL tear or post-surgery, and they're having issues with their kidney channel because the kidneys, the channel starts on the bottom of their foot, goes up, the inner leg, up through the knee, and then into the kidney itself, into the back. And so I've seen that blockage in the knee where kidney issues and pathologies could be also low back pain, urinary issues, peeing a lot at nighttime, or even fear. And it's really interesting to connect those patterns, like, okay, this pain and this blockage here is causing other things that a lot of people won't seemingly understand that it's connected.
It's so crazy how emotions really can affect your body in so many different ways.
Yeah. I always say that, we're human beings, and it's so beautiful to feel all these emotions, right? The light, the heavy, but everything that happens in our body truly starts from emotions, because, human beings are naturally supposed to be nature beings and empaths, right?
What if somebody is feeling like they are struggling to feel certain emotions?
I would say that they're storing it and suppressing it for some reason. And I mean, it's the body's natural mechanism to protect itself, right? Because feeling emotions can be really heavy and damaging and hard. But the more you bury emotions, the more your body is going to react to then become physiological or pathological symptoms.
So through acupuncture, you're able to treat a lot of these things,
And
emotional
release it.
blockage,
Absolutely.
releasing certain symptoms.
Yes.
Can you describe the process of acupuncture?
Yes. I always like to start, I mean, obviously this intake that we talked about where I like to speak to someone, but I like to feel their pulse and look at their tongue as well. Because in Chinese medicine, it's extremely diagnostic and we're able to tell what's happening inside the body, right? When we feel the pulse, we're not just feeling the rate of it. We're feeling the texture. You know, on each hand, you have 3 positions that correlate to different organs. You can feel the heart, the liver, the spleen, the stomach, you know, the kidneys as well. You have, you know, 3 levels, you know, superficial, you know, more middle and also deep. And so there's so much information from the pulse itself. And so if someone's not sharing something, but I feel something, I'm like, okay, I know that they're stressed. I know that, you know, their kidney energy is weak. They're, you know, they're probably suppressing something. If it's, you know, if we're women and we suppress a lot of things in our, I like to say our belt channel here. And then the tongue, as we know, I like to see.
It's so fun. So I came to her last week. I wasn't feeling well. I had some sort of virus, sinus infection situation. And she was like, okay, Alex, let me see your tongue. I stuck out my tongue. She's like, are you about to like, well, you said it not in this way, but are you about to start your period basically? And I was like, no, I don't think so. 3 days later, I start my period. I was like, wow, that's so crazy.
We can see everything from the color, the texture, and the tongue also has kind of a map of organ systems as well. So what I was seeing was the color of it. It was a little bit duskier, meaning that there was some stagnation and that blood wanted to move. And then also underneath the tongues, we have sublingual veins. And through someone's cycle, they start to fill and then they will decrease as well because it's almost like a representation of our uterus. So it's really fascinating. And again, okay, so once I get all these diagnostics, then I'll have someone lay on the table and I'll also do a lot of palpation, right? I felt your belly, I felt different parts of your body to understand where there was blockage. And then that's when we started putting some needles in. And then as soon as acupuncture needles, which are so thin, you can fit, 30 acupuncture needles into hypodermic needle, which is what we use for injections.
Which I'm so scared of needles. I've been this way since I was little. And to be honest, it was so easy.
Yeah, you did great. You did like not even a flinch. You're like, oh, I didn't even feel that one. And just with a few needles itself, it primes our chi or energetic system to move right away. And once that flow moves, like I'm sure you felt it too, you're just like, whoa, you have this new sense of peace and relaxation and serenity because everything is moving in a way where your emotions are moving, blockages are moving. And that's when your body starts to heal, because also acupuncture primes your nervous system to switch from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. And that's where true healing happens. It also switches your brain waves to meditative state. So then, once the needles are in, we have patients usually lay on the table for 30 minutes because that's how long it takes for the chi or energy to flow through the entire body. Sometimes patients will come and be like, whoa, certain needles were spicy at different points. And I'm like, yeah, because the energy was flowing through there and it was trying to move at that point. And then you come out feeling like, we say an acu high, you're in cloud 9.
Wherever it's a little bit more spicier, does that mean that area is blocked a little bit more, or it's just flowing?
Yes, I always like to say the spicier a point is, it means that there was more blockage and it needed to move.
Okay. That's so weird.
Exactly.
Like right here was really spicy on me, which I'm like, why do I have blockage here?
Yeah, and you can also do it with acupressure, So acupressure is another way to activate the meridian system through these acupuncture points. So we have acupuncture points all over the body, but they were found specifically because they're high energetic centers. And they're basically energy wells or dips that will enter the meridian or the channel system. So like, let's say this point is sore for you, you can massage it for 3 to 5 minutes, and that essentially emulates what an acupuncture needle would do. Exactly.
I know that you mix cupping with acupuncture. Do you also practice or have people do lymphatic drainage massages?
Yeah, I love lymphatic drainage massages. I mean, it's very different in terms of how it's based, but a lot of acupuncture is also a lymph drainage, right? We target a lot of certain meridian systems and fluid centers to drain lymphs. And so when someone is sick and they're feeling stagnation here, just a few needles around here, the body is going to drain them right away too.
I guess, do you suggest the light lymphatic drainage massages or the more deeper ones?
I've done both personally for myself. I think it really depends on the person. Because again, everything's individualized, right? And with lymph node activation, you truly only need like light touch to activate it, right? And to really make everything flow. Whereas sometimes like deeper is nice because it also gets into the fascia and tissue,
I always do the Brazilian ones. I'm like, the deeper,
yeah.
do it. So with acupuncture, there's a couple people who have submitted questions about fertility and period loss. And I know that it can be treated through acupuncture.
Yes, absolutely. I will always recommend people to seek out Chinese medicine or acupuncture for any woman's health issue. I think there's, especially in the Western world, an understanding of, when you get your period when you're 12 or 13, you have painful periods, you're almost immediately put on birth control to help manage those symptoms. And to be honest, that's the wrong way to deal with women's health, because you're just blocking a young girl from developing their hormones, from actually having their brain speak to their ovaries, and you're just cutting that circuit. And I always say that whatever symptoms you're feeling is an indication of the imbalances in your body. And so we have to start to listen to our body to be like, okay, why as an adult am I feeling this? Or why is my 13-year-old child having painful periods? Let me resort to a medicine that understands that to then heal it. And anything from, no periods, it's really awesome because there's so many root causes for no periods, whether we say it's a blood deficiency, some type of stagnation, like something that's causing that imbalance. Chinese medicine can find that root. And we love to pair it with herbs too, because that's so powerful for women's health. And acupuncture is amazing for hormonal balance. Again, because it lowers cortisol, it actually heals you in the parasympathetic state. And so whenever I see, patients for women's health or people in my practice, they usually like to see patients for like a good 3 months, because we like to see 3 cycles. And once we see 3 good cycles, we're like, okay, like your body is rebalanced and you should be fine without acupuncture and medication. And so our goal whenever we see patients or people that seek us out is that we're going to see you quite often. I want to see you weekly or twice a week for a certain issue, until your baseline is reached to a new level. And so then your body starts to heal itself.
Have you seen people that prior coming to you were not able to get pregnant?
Yeah.
And then post?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes.
That's so awesome.
As you said, from egg retrieval to preparing for IVF or even infertility, we say like one biggest issue of infertility nowadays is a yang deficiency. A yang is warmth. And it means that the uterus is cold. And our bodies are warm-blooded. And when we're pregnant, the fetus needs to be kind of surrounded by warmth. It needs a hug. And because of, Western diet culture, from ice drinks, raw salads, whatever it is, and just the go, go, go mentality, we have stagnation of our energy that's stuck that causes also a lot of cold. And we're able to warm that up with herbs, with acupuncture. Yeah. And they've gotten pregnant.
Do you recommend people sleeping with heating pads?
If you need it, yeah. Again, everyone's body is different. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you run on the colder side, and if you're on your period and you're having bad cramps, heating pads are one of the best because it increases warmth.
What about castor oil?
I love castor oil.
I love castor oil.
It's amazing. There's just a lot of research, and I've seen it too with a lot of my patients. Castor oils for women's health, for gut issues, even fibroids. It's like help purge out a lot of what we say, that stagnation, that phlegm or fluid that it's causing fibroids in the uterus. And I've seen a lot of patients just kind of purge it out with castor oil packs at night.
Yeah. Every night I literally lather myself in castor oil. And I feel like it's helped a lot. Okay. So hormone regulation, that goes hand in hand with no periods or really heavy periods.
Both.
So acupuncture helps that along with the herbs and cupping? Or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything. So under the modality of what Chinese medicine is, could be acupuncture, herbal remedies, cupping. We sometimes do gua sha, moxibustion, which is an herb that we burn to warm the body. So all of these modalities come together to help someone. And dependent on what someone comes in for, I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll add moxibustion today because they're a little bit colder. Or maybe I'll add cupping because they have a lot of stiffness or some stagnation in the body, or I need to pull out toxins. There's also something called electrostimulation or electroacupuncture too, which is amazing because we're able to target certain frequencies to then also make our brains release certain neurotransmitters. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, frequency is something I have been so interested in studying. And so I would love to hear your take on it does Chinese medicine with frequency, different hertz?
Yeah, elicit different things.
To different things. Okay.
Yeah. So usually like lower hertz, let's say 2 to 10. I love for any psycho emotional, right? If someone is experiencing anxiety, depression, like overwhelm, 2 to 10 hertz when we attach them to acupuncture needles helps release your serotonin, your dopamine, and just all the happy neurotransmitters. Whereas higher hertz, I would say, 80 to 100 helps release your endogenous opioids, which are your, pain signals. So it really helps with pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So how do you attach them to the needle?
Yeah, so once the needles are inserted in the body, because part of the needle sticks out, right, the end of it. And so I'll get these little clips, the electrodes, and I'll attach it to them because they're metal, right? And so it'll conduct it, and they almost feel like light taps.
Yeah.
And it's really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we can try it next time.
Yeah, I'd love to try it.
Yes.
I just think that there is, with what you do, it goes back so far. Before Western medicine was a thing, everything was healed through herbs, natural remedies, and same with frequency. I think it's very underrated, or people don't put enough emphasis on it.
Yes.
Even through, that's essentially what meditation is.
Yeah, exactly.
Is listening to certain frequencies.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that you brought up frequencies, and there's a lot of different understandings of what it is, right? People find it through sound healing, through different machines that read your waves or your electrodes, whatever it is. And there's all these machines now, high-tech machines, that show that acupuncture points have more firing of frequencies, and they're just like more active in general. So it is a frequent, I think any energetic medicine, energetic understanding can be tied to frequency medicine.
What is your thoughts on Botox?
Ooh. I like this. I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
I don't think we have.
But I would always suggest cosmetic acupuncture before any type of Botox if you're open to that. So cosmetic acupuncture is essentially, we put a lot of little needles in the face to help the qi and the blood flow in the face, but also to help with fine lines and wrinkles, with any muscle tone issues. So the difference between cosmetic acupuncture versus Botox freezes, right? It's a neurotoxin that basically paralyzes the muscle, whereas acupuncture and cosmetic, it's all the thought of we want to activate something, so then it brings youth, right? And I've seen so many amazing results with consistent cosmetic acupuncture for fine lines and wrinkles. I'll target smile lines or 11 lines or forehead lines, and when we put acupuncture needles in it, it basically sends signals that your collagen needs to be rebuilt, right? And these like fine lines will fill out. Or even with Botox, where you want to lift something, like we can put needles here and it lifts everything. But consistency is key, as always. Yeah.
So how often do you have to do it to start seeing results?
So for cosmetic acupuncture patients, I always say I like to see them between 8 and 10 times almost weekly, or if they want, they can do it twice a week, over a 5-week period. Because consistency matters. Yeah. And I think by like treatment 5 or 6, I see a noticeable difference, but to have that sustain, I would like to see them 8 to 10 times, but it lasts like 4 to 5 years with seasonal touch-ups.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That's crazy. So can you combine Botox with...
Yes, absolutely. I always say it's a great combination because, again, Botox freezes, but we don't want any stagnation to happen, right? We still want blood flow through the areas that, Botox was inserted at, because when we're able to increase all of this chi or blood of what we say, that's when like youth happens. That's where the glow happens. That's where, the red of the cheeks happen and all of the wrinkles start to dissipate.
What herbs do you recommend for people struggling with skin issues?
This is a good one. I went through my own acne journey. I was on hormonal birth control for 9 years. I mean, of course, the same substance I was given to it was given to me when I was in college. I mean, obviously, my mom was like, I don't want you to get pregnant. I'm like, okay, sure, let me take this. And it was before the understanding of what my body truly needed.
Right.
And I got off it and I had debilitating acne for 6 months, like cystic, red, achy. And I had to go back to Chinese medicine understanding and holistic health, right? I mean, yes, you have the understanding of specific herbs and teas. I love spearmint. Spearmint's also a Chinese medicine herb because it's a androgen blocker. So when someone gets off birth control, they're going to have a testosterone boost. And a lot of the times that's where the hormones are off and where you get a lot of acne. And so drinking spearmint really, really helps. And in Chinese medicine, it targets the liver and it detoxes.
Oh, interesting.
Chrysanthemum is my favorite. Chrysanthemum, they're nice yellow flowers. You can find them white as well because it cools and detoxes the body. So I drink chrysanthemum tea every single night to detox my body, to cool my body.
Do you have to do it from the flower itself, or can you buy it through a pack?
I would always say flower. And you can get chrysanthemum flowers even on Amazon now or any Asian market. Just kind of throw it in a hot cup of water, let it steep for a few minutes, and you can drink it with like flowers on top. It's so beautiful.
Cute.
And it's so yummy. So those are the two like main cool detoxing herbs that I like for the face. But also when we think about skin, we need blood flow, right? And so there's two herbs that I always recommend for blood flow: goji berries and jujube dates. But again, in tea, steep it. So goji berries and jujube dates, I kind of almost put it in a light boil for 5 to 10 minutes. You can drink it every single day. Or I'll do that, and then once the boil ends, I'll throw in the flowers, the spearmint tea or the chrysanthemum flowers or rosebuds, and drink it. And it's skincare from the inside out.
Can you mix it with honey?
You can if you want.
Or does it cause a adverse effect?
I don't think it causes an adverse effect, but when I think about honey, I think the benefits of honey is best raw, because once you put it in hot water, it starts to not kill, but it dissipates the benefits of what honey can give you.
Oh, okay. Is there anything else you recommend for skin? Like as maybe topically?
Oh my gosh. I guess this could lead into the skincare line, because topically, I always like to say all herbs that we can eat can be put on your skin and vice versa, right? It goes back to natural medicine and why it's so good for your face. So one of the best things for the face is chrysanthemum, and while chrysanthemum is an herb, and there's more and more research coming out that it's one of the most anti-inflammatory herbs. It's high in beta carotene, which is, precursor to vitamin A. So it's great for turnover, for that glow, for that freshness. But because it's an herb, it's so gentle, but also effective. And so I'm creating a skincare line with my twin sister, and all of the herbs in our skincare line are Chinese medicine herbs. So it's a traditional Chinese medicine skincare line and brand. And we want to highlight these natural remedies from, chrysanthemum, pearl powder, orange peel, centella, whatever it is, to say, hey, like, we've been drinking these as teas, we've been eating it for centuries, but also you can put it on your face because it's so great. And here's all the modern research that shows it too.
So how did you guys start the skincare line? Obviously, it's things that you've learned since you were little.
Yeah.
What made you guys want to start it? What was the process like?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What are you guys creating? Because I want to know. So
oh my gosh. And I'm gonna tomorrow I'm gonna pass you all the testers.
Yes, I can't wait.
We've been building this for over a year. I think I've always wanted to start something with my twin sister Heather, and her background is finance and private equity, and so she's so good at business, building numbers. I mean, she's the brain behind the ops. And I came in as the Chinese medicine expert and as the doctor. And when we started to create it, it was at a time in my career where I was very confident about understanding herbs, formulations, seeing it with patients already, but also understanding what the benefits were. And so I'm like, okay, I want to put it into these skincare products because they're so, so phenomenal for our body inside and out.
Yeah.
I remember we sat down, we were home in Hong Kong at this point, sat down in our childhood beds, and Heather was like, okay, I'm just going to draft like a rough contract. Here it is. And let's start.
My gosh.
So we started doing research. And I think the number one thing was finding a manufacturing lab. And we found a lot. We went through a couple horrible labs that just weren't the good fit. And then we found wonderful labs. There's one in New Jersey and one in San Diego we're working with.
Okay, so they're all U.S. based.
All U.S. based, but these labs are all tied to Asian culture. And so the lab that we have in New Jersey, the parent company is Korean. And so they're able to find all the Chinese herbs that we like, and they understand where to find it. So they source from Asia. And this lab in San Diego, it's a 9th generation Chinese medicine practitioner who founded the lab, or, passed through her family too. So she has a complete understanding of Chinese medicine herbs. And so we feel so blessed to have found them, because I'm just like, to be like, hey, I want chrysanthemum. I want this, extract of orange peel or pearl powder. A lot of labs would be like, how do I even get that? I'm like, and they've been awesome. So I guess that's the first process, to find a lab that you trust, their quality, who all their vendors are. And then we created our brand book, our vision. And I think our biggest vision is to share Chinese medicine with the rest of the world on a large scale, because it's so beneficial. I mean, we're so passionate. It healed my acne. It healed my sister's gut health when we moved here.
I'm obsessed. It's so cute.
Yeah, thank you.
Twin sisters taking over.
Yeah. And it's called Moonbow. And so Moonbow, I don't know if you know what it is, but it's a rainbow around a moon at night.
Okay.
Sometimes it's so funny. Every time I mention it, you're going to look up in the sky. You'll be like, oh my God, that's a moonbow.
Yeah, you probably don't even, I haven't even noticed it.
Yeah, but like look up in the sky. It happens, when the moon is almost full with certain clouds, and it happens like 10% of the time, and you'll see like a rainbow around it.
Okay.
And the whole part of that is that it's a mix of yin and yang, right? It's the balance. The moon is really yin, it's dormant, it's feminine, and a rainbow is very beautiful, it's loud, it's yang. And I think that's where Heather and I come in. We're twins, but we're exact opposites. We grew up in Hong Kong, and now we're bringing this culture to the West. It's about duality. It's about, polar opposites, but in harmony. And I think that's what our goal is to show people that you can find balance. And our mode to share this lifestyle is through skincare, but also it's all about education. It's like, these are the herbs, but you can also drink them in tea or eat them in soups.
Yeah. What products are you guys doing to start?
Yeah, so we're starting with a basic line. We have a cleanser, a serum, and a moisturizer. Okay. Like 3 simple steps. I've been using it for the past 6 months, and it's been awesome. It's been easy to follow the 3 steps. I bring it everywhere I go. It's not to overwhelm anyone. I'm very excited.
Is it a foam or a gel?
So it's a gel cleanser. The serum is almost like stickier, almost like snail mucin-like. And the purpose of that was that, we'd love to tap into our face, because tapping activates acupressure points. It also activates our lymphs, and it's so good. And it's fun, nice and sticky. And I love that. And then our face moisturizer is also a little bit more gel consistency, and a little bit of it goes such a long way, and it has pearl powder in it. And pearl powder is something that is so good for the skin to luminize it. It helps heal any sores and wounds. It helps scarring, but it's also something that I took as a kid, and also through my acne journey. You can ingest pearl powder because it's extremely detoxing. It helps also, what we say, calm our nervous system. So it's really great for healing.
Is it actual pearls?
Actual crushed up pearls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's true, whenever you're applying your moisturizer, that you tap, you shouldn't rub.
I think so. It's really interesting, because when we were doing consumer trials and we gave, 30 products out, people were responding with different ways. And so ours, I literally truly just get a little bit. I put it, just kind of a quick kind of swipe on my face, and I like to tap it in. Yeah, because when you tap it in, it's actually getting in, it's the rubbing it keeps on the surface. I think it's almost similar to applying sunscreen versus moisturizer. There's a better way to do it, but not to say that if you rub it, it's not going to absorb in your skin.
So what are your thoughts on acids?
Like glycolic acids, mandelic, I think they're awesome. So there are just different ways to clear certain blockages. I think that's fine. And so in our products too, we have all these Chinese herbs, but also a lot of Western innovation. So we have hyaluronic acid as well. We have niacinamide. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, again, it's all about balance. I don't think it should be used if you're young, if you're under the age of 16, you shouldn't be using actives because your body is still developing. But for, young adults or adults, it's great. But it's also, again, about balance. Don't use a glycolic acid every night because it's going to be too stripping.
Right. When are your products going to launch?
It's ready for the whole nation to buy.
Wow. That's so exciting. Congrats.
Thank you.
I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to give you some tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
And it's for all sorts of skin types?
Exactly. So we wanted to focus on a very basic skincare line that everyone could use. You know, it's acne safe. It's, you know, going to be great for acne prone skin. And I have very sensitive skin. Ever since I had my acne issue, I'm very, very mindful of what I can use. And, you know, most skincare lines make me break out. And so hence, like, that's why Heather and I wanted to find something that is great for sensitive skin.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see the branding.
Oh my gosh,
Especially
I'm
with
gonna
the
show
name.
you.
I feel like it's going to be so cute.
It's like bright, beautiful, young, vibrant. I'll show you after this.
Yeah. With the moon concept, are you really into Chinese astrology?
Yes. It's so funny you brought this up. Yes and no, because I have my own trauma connections to it. But my mother was really, really into Chinese astrology. And it's a completely different mode of seeing what stars are aligned or whatnot based on your birth chart, but it very much aligns with what we know as like Western astrology, just completely different names, but everything lines up. It's really fascinating. Again, two cultures coming together. And you're born with a element. And so my mom, me and my two sisters, so us four, were all the earth element per Chinese medicine or Chinese chart, and my dad is water. And so they always said growing up that, you know, the four girls in our family, because we're earth and we're grounding, and my dad is water and water likes to move, we always were his home base, and he would come back because we, you know, block the flow for him to come back home.
That's so cute.
Yeah, because he's like a gypsy soul. He loves to travel. He chases things and excitement.
That.
Yeah.
What's your husband?
My husband is fire.
Fire. I was going to say.
And in Chinese medicine, we have the 5 element chart. It's fire, earth, metal, water, wood. And fire basically helps with earth, right? When we think about fires, post-fire, it reinvigorates and makes the earth really nutritious then to grow. So
I think I'm a fire sign. November 24th.
I
know Sagittarius
Sag.
is fire.
Yeah. I'm so curious what it is in Chinese astrology.
I know.
Yeah, because it's also based on the zodiac and every 12 years too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can check it out.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I personally think based on zodiac signs, whenever I read the descriptions, I'm like, wow, that is just so spot on. Oh, I do have one question. So lately, I have been trying to step more into my feminine energy because, you know, I am always working. I feel like naturally I'm just kind of more of a masculine energy person.
I'm there with you.
And the way that I'm direct, like to get things done, I'm kind of no bullshit. And so now I'm trying to focus more on feminine energy. And when I was doing a little bit of research, it said in Chinese medicine, one side of your body is more feminine than the other. So can you kind of go into it?
Yeah.
Or if there's a way to channel it too.
Of course. Oh my gosh. I love this because it's something that I've been searching about for a long time too, right? And understand my feminine side because as business owners, as doctors, as someone that's busy, we're always in our masculine trying to get things done. But to be feminine in Chinese medicine, it's the yin, it's the dormancy. So we have the yin, the yang. You know, the yin is the quiet, the feminine, the yang is the masculine, the more active. And yes, it, you know, not to bring in societal construct of what feminine, masculine is, but from an energetic standpoint, to be feminine is to tune into your yin energy. It's to really slow down and to understand what is great for you. And in Chinese medicine, wherever in the body, there's always more yin, right? When we think about our head to toes, toe is more yin because it's, you know, more dormant. It's closer to the earth, and then our head is more yang. We can even say outside our skin is more yang, but like the inside of viscerals or organs are more yin. Also with different sides, it also depends, like if we're walking outside, our back is more yang because it's the sun's on it. It's the heat, you know, the front is more yin because it's woman or feminine. And so practices from Chinese medicine that I love to activate our yin and femininity is to find practices that bring you most peace. Right? It's everything from mindfulness, whether it's journaling, going on walks. I love Qigong. It's just like movement of my hands, my body to then activate this Qi. And immediately my body just like kicks into like, oh my gosh, I'm so relaxed. And now I can.
Wait, so what is it?
So Qigong, Qi means our energy and Gong is like an exercise. It's little like things here. I'm going to show and like back up a little bit. You can be sitting, you can be standing and like with your legs wide apart, but even like breathing in with your hands going up and breathing out and bringing it down. down and really tuning into your feminine area and just watching this energy move back and forth. And doing it for 5 minutes is transformative, right? It's similar to breath work, but with movement of the hands. And it's like one of the biggest chi movers, and it helps everything move again.
Do you do it with any sort of sound?
Sometimes. I mean, I always love to be in nature. I love to put my feet in the ground in grass, to be outside in the sunshine. And as soon as there's some, element of nature, I think that's the best.
Do you do grounding?
Yes, love.
Love grounding.
Yes. I mean, even sometimes in the middle of the day when I take my dog out to the park, I'll like take off my shoes and put my feet in the grass. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this.
Do you do PEMF?
Yes. Oh my gosh, my PEMF mat.
Yeah.
I have one by Higher Dose,
Yes,
and
that's
I've
one
used
I
it
just ordered.
every single night. I was like, I think I used it too much that I think the control got a little bit whack, but that's how much I love it. Every single night after, especially seeing patients all day, I need to reground myself and to kind of recoup my energy. And that's like one of the best. I lay on it, I meditate a little bit. I just kind of visualize just my energy centers all aligning again, and it helps me sleep. And it helps like release any energies that I picked up during the day.
Yeah, I think that's super important too for anyone that has, I mean, for myself at least I can speak, is I feel like I'm a mixed up introvert and extrovert, but after a lot of talking or interacting, socializing, I'm like, okay, I need to ground myself a little bit because I get a little bit depleted, I would say, over time.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
And so at night, I've been doing castor oil packs, PEMF, and then red light therapy.
Love red light.
So I would suggest it to anyone that feels or has a job that they're exerting a lot. Because it just brings you back kind of to your core.
Yeah,
center.
I mean, especially this PMF mat that we both have, it elicits similar electromagnetic energies that the earth does, right? And they also have like a heating component, infrared component. It's so comfortable. It's so funny because my husband and I have a big couch in front of the TV, and when we're decompressing at night, we're both fighting for this mat, and we rarely lay on our couch now.
Oh, shoot.
You're
so
good.
Sorry.
It's okay. We can just cut that out.
Oh my gosh. This boy that like you will not leave me alone.
Wait, that's so cute. That's so funny.
Yeah, but talk about energy draining. I'm like, I feel depleted just when I see your name on my phone. But anyways,
That's too funny.
dating.
Yeah, dating world.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Maybe I should get some advice from you.
I was lucky. I met my husband. He's my first date on Bumble
Shut up.
when I moved to Boston post
Oh my
college.
gosh.
Yeah.
You guys met in Boston, then moved here.
Yeah, I lived in Boston for a couple of years. This is when I was working at the hospital there, when I was still in my Western route. And then I drove cross country to come out to Chinese medicine school here. And I was like, hey, we were dating for a couple of years. And I was like, you want to move out west with me? And so we packed everything in his little car and we drove out.
Oh my
to LA.
gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is he in the medical field?
Not at all. He does something completely different. He owns a remodeling company, but I have to say the way he grew up and his values are very, very energetically tied and very holistic. I mean, his mother is a shamanic healer. He grew up in Vermont and Bali, and I think just everything about how he connects with earth. I mean, I think it's why we're drawn to each other. We're very different, but very similar in terms of how we value our life and our health.
I know that's one thing I'm learning is finding someone that's on the same page as me as far as the holistic healing goes, because that's something that you have to have in common. Yeah. Especially, if you're going to have kids. So that's nice that you guys are on the same page.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were talking about mat. You guys fight for the mat.
Oh my gosh, yes, the PEMF mat. Yes, and our dog too. We have a little French bulldog. He's the best. So it's my 6'5" husband, me, and my dog all fighting for this mat. And it's so funny. And we always have this joke where like if my husband's on it, like I'll ask him like, hey, can you scoot over? He's like, you boot me off the mat every single night. And I mean, Theo, our dog, is there because he's a little bit smaller. He kind of gets the corner.
Yeah. Do you do acupuncture on dogs?
I personally don't, but yes, it's very common and it's amazing. And animals are extremely receptive because it's an energetic medicine. Yeah. I do a lot of acupressure on my dog. Okay. I mean, there's this one point where right between the eyebrows. Like, it's called yin tong. It's one of my favorite to massage on myself or anyone, for any type of anxiety, or if you're, too elevated. And when my dog is just a little crazy barking in the zoomies, I'll literally grab and massage this point and immediately calms down.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy, because I always massage right there on my dog. He developed a little fat tumor on his stomach.
Poor guy.
It's called, I'm going to butcher it.
Like a lipoma?
Lipoma. And so they did a little testing. They said it isn't cancerous, but I believe he has some blockage.
Yeah, and some type of fluid, like imbalance where like fluid isn't moving. Yeah,
right.
That's why it's stuck.
I've been doing red light therapy on his stomach. I'd kind of be interested in doing acupuncture on him.
I was like, I wish your pup was here.
I know.
But I'm so happy to help you find someone close to you. But yeah, there are specific people who do acupuncture on animals, whether it's horses, dogs, cats, and they're amazing. And it's very similar to our energetic center. We just have to understand animal anatomy.
Yeah. Do you believe in vaccines, or it's a mix?
A mix. I think I completely understand where everyone has an opinion towards it. I mean, again, I think it's always about understanding your health, your holistic health, but also like your baseline. I mean, it's always a touchy subject. Obviously, politics are involved, and it's silly that it is. But I think if someone wants to versus not, it's completely their decision.
Personal choice.
Yeah, exactly. No one should have judgments around that.
Yeah. I was reading that vaccines for dogs are not the best because there's such little beings that they have such an effect on them. Yeah. Which I've gotten Kingston, his basic vaccines. But now I'm more hesitant to get the follow-up ones because he developed this lipoma situation.
I mean, I remember when I got our pup, we gave him the initial few vaccines, and then we get, reoccurring emails. Oh, you have a vaccine due in a month, another one. And we've stopped all the ones that he didn't need as an adult, because I'm just like, he doesn't need that. He's healthy. There's nothing wrong with him at this moment. And I don't want the vaccines to cause any other imbalance or further imbalance.
Can you give dogs herbs?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
You just have to be really, really mindful and careful of the dosage, and also what herbs you can, right? Because some herbs can be toxic, but also because they're so much smaller, the dosage matters. Like, I have a really close friend that I went to school with, and her family, she comes from, I think, 2-3 generations of Chinese medicine practitioners, and her dog had cancer, and they gave her dog herbs all the time, and he went into remission.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very possible. You just have to find the right practitioner that understands how to work with animals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What about castor oil?
On dogs? Ooh, I've never thought about that. Maybe. I mean, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty gentle.
If I put a little bit on his stomach.
Yeah. But maybe Google. I have no idea. That's why we can use AI to check.
I didn't come here to talk about animals.
No, but I love that. I was like, ooh.
I feel like my dog is my little baby, or he is my baby.
Yes.
So it's
mine too.
I feel like healing from what we use, we can definitely use on our dogs.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the same mindset, you know?
So yeah,
it's good training when we have human babies.
I know. Do you want kids?
Yeah, my husband and I do, but I'm not ready for it yet. I'm like, there's so much I need to do in my life before I devote everything to a child.
Yeah. Well, you've done so much. You just opened a new studio in Culver City. So if you guys are located in the Los Angeles area, definitely go check it out.
Thank you.
It's the cutest space. There's an infrared sauna, a cold plunge area. It's a little oasis. You guys should go check it out if you're in the area, but also you do remote treatment.
Exactly. I do virtual treatments, and obviously the only thing that we can't do is acupuncture, but there's so much of Chinese medicine that we can share virtually, right? It's the herbs, it's the lifestyle, it's, all the yin movements, the qigong, how you eat. I mean, food is therapy. There's so much you can share to heal from a Chinese medicine perspective virtually.
And then you help find certified people in areas for them to go to.
Yeah. So under Felice Acupuncture, which is my clinic, we have 3 practitioners, and we all have our own expertise. I mean, acupuncture is great for everything, but I have Dr. Sarah, and she's amazing at women's health, fertility, everything woman related. There's Dr. Sam, who's amazing at autoimmune issues and pain, and then I love anything gut health and mental health related, and women's health too. Yeah.
Cool. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so I actually love to share little tidbits about Chinese medicine on my Instagram platform, Dr. Felice Chan. And then more clinic-related acupuncture, I share on feliceacupuncture.clinic, and it's all through Instagram. We share a lot of free videos for acupressure tips, foods you can eat, recipes, little mindful movements too. It's all there.
I know. I love your videos. Because the other day she did it on her hand, different points that you can do. So I was sitting there and I was like, okay, Alex trained when I was sick.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anything
for
else
having
you
me.
want to share?
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you for
Yeah,
having
of
me.
course.
Oh, I did want to add, if you want like skin specific and acne specific tips from Chinese medicine, we have that on moonbow.skin or moonbow_skin. That's our Instagram handle. And I think that's mostly focused on skin health.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have to go follow.
Yeah, I think you'll love it.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I
This was so fun.
appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in to another entry of the Dry Diaries. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.